all around the board, every number would be up somewhat.
Right, but he's older, and I mean, I'm saying like he easily could have just not, just punted on the season. So people want to complain when people do load management, but then at the same time, people don't want to give him credit when he's out there every night. And I know it's his job and everything like that, but there's a lot of guys who would have just said, my back hurts, I'm out for this game, this and that, or I'm out for a couple games. And
I'm sick of these players bitching and moaning like, I need more days off. I need a mental day. Go fuck yourself.
I've never heard of mental day. I don't know, what is that?
These guys need these days where they can let their anxiety chill out.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of Analytically Correct. We're here at Public House on University with Rob and Stretch. Thank you guys for watching. We're going to start this week. I was debating what to start with, but I think we're going to go with All-Star Weekend. I don't know how much you caught from it. We're kind of in that in-between time between when baseball starts and when football ends, and then basketball's in the All-Star Weekend. So if you want to see us start with NASCAR, I'm sorry to disappoint you. I mean, I did watch a good amount of the race, but
I did not, man. I did not actually.
And I'm guessing a lot of people who are going to watch don't care about NASCAR either. So I can't really break it down other than to tell you that the guy who finished in third, I had a $25 bet for him to win $1,600.
Oh, wow.
And he came in third. So that's pretty much the story of my liof right there. But
go.
Getting into All-Star Weekend, how much did you watch? Any of it? None of it? All of it?
I watched most of the second and third and some of the fourth. A quarter on it.
Did you watch, before we get into the actual game, did you watch the dunk contest at all?
I didn't, man. The dunk contest bores me now.
Didn't watch the dunk contest?
No, I watched the replays on their dunks and how Aaron, because I only watched because people wouldn't shut about Aaron Gordon getting robbed. I mean, yeah, he got robbed for having a perfect 50, but even then, I just think that the dunk contest is just like, what is it? Like, it's not even, entertaining anymore. Like, you have very few...
If you watched it, it was pretty entertaining. Stretch watched it, I watched it. I thought it was pretty entertaining.
I don't think it's like Aaron Gordon. I mean, him missing out on it, killed them on that one because he's not going to dunk anymore. So it's another guy who can dunk.
Aaron Gordon should just, instead of his protest, instead of his protest that nobody cares about of him joining the dunk contest again, he should just never dunk in games again.
It's just like the fact that, okay, so
he
now
should just do all layups, even if it's a fast break.
Him just took it out a good player that we have in the dunk contest doesn't really have anyone worth ever talking about for the most part. It's not fun in that manner. I don't care what Derek Jones can do.
If you watched it, it was really good.
I get
a lot of the dunks were really good.
They're dunks with nobody around. Dunk contest is bigger names. Sorry, it's better with bigger names. When there were actual real names out there consistently competing in the dunk contest, it was better. I'm not shooting it all down, but I'm just saying, for them to do that to Aaron Gordon, him not be able to get the win on it, you really ruined it because now you don't have a contestant that's a consistent contestant and a very good quality contestant. You're gonna kick, he's X out. I don't know, dude. There was 3 or 4 dunks that were wow, and then after that it's just okay.
Only
and
3 or 4.
And that's better. I think it's the best dunk contest they've had in the past 4 years.
I understand what you're saying about the big names being in it and everything, but with lack of the big names, they got what were pretty much the best dunkers in the league. I mean, we even had a white guy in there. Come on, we know we were rooting for.
We did.
The white man can't jump thing was pretty cool. Did you see that when Pat Connaughton came out? Stretch is giving a strong no right now. I asked him, come on, you gotta at least respect it. He's like, no, we're not having that.
I think in soon to be years with Zion getting involved with it will be a fun one, obviously.
I really hope he does it because that could be a revitalization of it. They should almost have in the same way they have rising stars, they should almost for the dunk contest have younger guys versus older guys. Or
the rising stars
that.
theme was probably the rising star challenge was probably the best. And overall, the skills challenge was really nice. There's obviously Bam out there, seeing what he was able to do and showcase himself as a complete big man. He's a different big man than I think most big men are in the NBA and have been in a while because he plays bigger than what he is.
He could have been in the dunk contest too.
Yeah. And I think the Rising Star Challenge was probably the best part of the All-Star game. I didn't like the All-Star game.
That's the only part I didn't watch.
Really? See, now I went back and watched some of that as well, just because it was like Stretch says, there's a lot of really good young names in there. And the NBA is becoming younger and younger, and you're seeing a lot of these great young quality players go in there. So it was fun to see that and see where the future league is going with seeing them.
It is crazy, too, now how it seems how accelerated the NBA is, because I saw Trae Young in Rising Stars, which is either rookie or sophomore seasons.
Yeah.
And it feels like Trae Young's been in the league for years, because we've been hearing all about him, and it's only his second year. And then I think some of the more interesting things is going to be with Zion in the second half of this season, with them making a full push for the playoffs.
Because they started making a push probably about 10 games before he came back, they all of a sudden started winning games in a row consistently because they were looking at second to last in the West before there was a point at that to where it was starting to look like, okay, what are they going to do? I thought they were going to shut down Zion because if we're going to finish last, we're not going to play him because there's no point because let him get healthy. They started making a turn, they started making a push, and now with Zion here, there's more energy coming out. There's a real shot for the Pelicans to make the playoffs.
And if they do, I don't think there's any chance they win an opening series. No. But what would you rather see, like as far as a 1-8 seed matchup goes? You're gonna have LeBron versus like Zion, like the older guard versus the newer guard, and that'll be something I think we look back on. And this is a different, like obviously level in the playoffs. But when you go back and watch the Thunder and the Heat. When you go back and watch all those guys on that team, this will be something maybe if it happens in the first round with LeBron and Zion, where the Pelicans have no chance to win, but you just go back and see the promise and the talent of Zion coming up and LeBron getting into his older years of his career, I think would be awesome. I kind of think maybe people are right when they say that, I don't know, I still think not to get back into the dunk contest, but I do think maybe Aaron Gordon and Derek Jones were pretty close. I think the funniest part, did you hear about Dwayne Wade, was probably fixing the whole thing.
Yeah.
There was like a conversation where in the dunk, they actually had a dunk off, so it was like overtime in the dunk contest where they all agreed on the last dunk that they were going to call it a tie and have another round, and then Dwayne Wade, instead of putting up a 10, put up a 9 and kind of won it for Derek Jones. So as somebody who had money on Derek Jones, I appreciated that, but I can see why other people might not have appreciated it as much.
I mean, like I said, that alone tells you the dunk contest is a joke. Like that.
Well,
alone
it's the
just
people
tells you
judging
it's a joke. It's not serious.
Somebody made the point to me this week that it's for kids. All-Star Weekend is like for kids, and if you're not impressed by people dunking over Kias and you don't like the sponsorship and everything, just watch the regular season. That's fine. Like not everything is meant for you. Not everything is meant for everybody. But I thought overall, like. Chance's performance was pretty good. The All-Star game format, you watched the actual game?
I did, yeah. It was a different format.
I thought it was pretty cool. I watched it on mute, so I was kind of confused as far as like what was going on and how they came up.
It took me a bit to realize what was going on.
How they came up with the number and everything, but seeing like the actual, because the coolest thing you can see, the concept is the All-Stars playing against each other, really cool. But the fact that nothing's on the line, you're not getting these guys all. But when it came down to the fourth quarter and they're actually trying, and you see these all-stars on both teams, like when the best of the best play against each other, like it was actually super entertaining.
I thought so as well.
And you have like Kyle Lowry flopping all over the place.
Shocker.
One of the funnier things was it was up to 157, and you had James Harden had a layup that he could have had to get to 157 to win, but it's been so drilled in his head for the analytics to go for threes that he kicked it out for a three and they missed.
Hey, but yeah, I was very happy to see Devin Booker get it, even though it was basically he had to have someone sit down. For some reason, Chris Paul was ahead of him in there. It makes no sense. But I was glad to see Devin Booker get in there, and even though it was late, that was a guy that I was really hard on the fact that basketball kind of sat him out and didn't have him in. And I thought that's, if not one of the most premier scorers in the league, he may be the best one. I mean, when you look at a pure score in this league right now.
As far as Devin, I thought you were out on Devin Booker.
I like Devin Booker. I'm not big on Trae Young. I think Trae Young can play, don't get me wrong, but I think he's also more of just, he's going to put a lot of stats. I like Young in Atlanta because that's his team. That's what he's going to rally around. I felt like he could have made a push, but the thing that kills me about Young, it's, if you're going to put up 31 shots, you're going to get 28 points. You're going to get 35 points. It's a lot of shots. It's the same thing I say about all these players, that when these guys are putting up all these numbers, like I was saying about the triple-double, like when it was first going on, I was like, yeah, it's a triple-double, but you can't dribble the ball down and pass it out. You're having big men run away from rebounds. You're having these guys hawk up, 25 shots. It's like, it used to be when you shot too many shots like that, like Kobe Bryant would get killed for shooting 25, 30 shots
and now
a
it's
game.
like there
now
analytics and everything.
Now it's when they want you doing that. It's one of those things, you know what I mean? Like, it was guys like AI got killed for doing that. Guys that wouldn't move, distribute the ball, guys who just take a lot of shots. But Booker's also an efficient shooter. He shoots about 52%. He's averaging 27. I mean, he's not a bad shooter. That's the thing. He's efficient. And I think seeing where he's going to get, I think there's going to be a future for him in the NBA on another team here soon. Like I said, I was big on saying the Timberwolves with that one because the fact those young guys do want to get together last week. And I do want to see how Phoenix pans out at the second half of the season. Do they get better with Aiden now fully back in and everything running through with them? I want to see how much better that team gets, because that team I felt like has been not meeting expectations for a little while now, and to where how good they could be even though they're young. I felt like they can make a late playoff push if they play the way they should play. So I think they can be as good as, I think they can beat out New Orleans and Memphis for that last spot if they play the way they should be playing.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have the talent, and they've spent the early picks that should wind up panning out eventually, like you said, with Aiton's health and everything. Getting back to the All-Star game, I think will transition what I wanted to get back into, the conversation we were having just before we came on that Stretch asked us to wait until we were on to have. And when you see Kawhi Leonard out there playing whatever it was, 28, 29 minutes in the All-Star game, and since they're playing up to 157, it's not technically a 12-minute fourth quarter, like it's untimed. The fourth quarter took 42 minutes.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it was wild.
So you have these guys, and there's no timeouts. There's no TV timeouts. So these guys are out there playing more than they normally would. But what we were talking about with the resting thing with Kawhi Leonard, and Stretch was making the point that the fans are the one that drive the revenue and everything. Yeah. And I was saying that it's more about the TV and all that kind of stuff. And then I got into the Draymond Green thing, and then I was kind of saying that. I was kind of saying that Draymond Green deserves a little bit more credit this season for actually going out there and playing hard and like leading the team. When most of the nights he goes out there, he doesn't know who he's playing with.
Yeah, I mean that's just such a sad thing to say in this day and age in sports, where let's give him credit for playing. Like he's not getting acclimated well enough to go out there and do his job. That's just where we're at though in basketball.
I get it, but there's a lot of guys who wouldn't do that. There's a lot of guys who would fake an injury and say stuff like that.
It's almost like we're kind of sitting back and saying like we're almost like not praising him, but saying, hey man, good job to this guy for actually
doing your job.
Good to showing up on work, you know, not just kind of half-assing. Like, but that's where we're at, and like the game management, as a fan. The Nets are going to be playing load management next year, okay? And I hope we are, because I don't need Kevin Durant going out there playing 80 out of the 82 games.
Right, but so
I don't need Kyrie playing 80 out of the 82 games.
On the one side, if you want to look forward to next season, you can't right now complain against players talking about load management, and then the next season say when it's your team.
Yes, exactly. That's my thing. Like that's what the Nets are going to do, because that's what they have to do to win it.
And if you're a Clippers fan, like we're talking about Clippers fans, and Stretch says it's bad for the fans, and they go to the games and it's like, oh, sorry, Kawhi's not playing tonight. We just saw it work. If it didn't work, if it didn't work last year and they lost, whatever, there's still merit to maybe it was working and they just didn't win. It worked. They won the championship. He was healthy for the playoffs. So if you're a Clippers fan, would you rather see him live in the game 62 of the season, or would you rather see him in game 4 of the finals be as healthy as possible at that point in the season?
That's one. I mean, it's gonna the same thing next year. The Warriors are gonna load management with, they're gonna be out there loading out with, Clay and Steph like they always do. Steph's always on load management too. This load management is not new. It's been going on for like a solid 5-7 years.
It just once the media gives it a name, then it's easier to talk about.
Once they decide what to call it, exactly. Because I was saying, you can go after all these guys and what they're doing. People are like, oh, people in Memphis don't do it. There's nobody worth the damn load managing right now. Your best player's 19. You're not gonna load manage him.
That's when it gets into a different thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Is when it's guys like LeBron, guys like Chris Paul, guys like. I mean, the one guy who a lot of people don't like watching because of his style or whatever, James Harden. One thing you can't say
he does not load manage.
One thing you can't say he's not out there every night.
I mean, he's also not playing defense half the time too, but like
it's not as bad as it used to be.
No, it's not.
YouTube kind of shamed him into playing defense.
Yeah,
and when I say playing defense, I mean like actually
staying in front of your
man.
Yeah,
like you don't. Yeah. It's like there's teams that try to hide guys on defense, and then there's guys who just go out there and just stand there and.
I didn't like LeBron making comments about load management. It's like, dude, you were doing the load management 4 years ago. You were load managing Cleveland as well. Like, just because you're not doing it now doesn't mean it's not a thing. Just you deciding to let your fans see you play. That's fine. He load managed last year. They were still in the playoff race when he came off injury, and he just said, I'm going to sit out. That's load managing last year. That's what it is, whether you want to call it or not.
Stretch said Giannis publicly shamed Harden. Giannis actually, I don't know if people know this. Giannis hates Harden.
He does.
He pegged a basketball at him. He didn't pick him on his team because he doesn't pass the ball, and he still wound up losing anyways. Team Giannis did. But for that would be. I don't know.
Giannis likes to go out there and compete too. Is one thing. Dude,
he just won the MVP last year, and then comes out every single night and looks like he's trying harder than he ever has.
Yeah.
Gotten better. The only thing I would worry about is, and to transition into a different thing, it seemed like, and how much stock you put into the All-Star game, but when it came to crunch time and Giannis tries to drive in there, you can't just go coast to coast and dunk every single time. And there was some stuff going on between Giannis and LeBron where it's like Giannis trying to take the lead. This is like my thing where I'm just seeing too much in an All-Star game, but Giannis trying to take the league and LeBron still saying, no, I'm still the guy.
Yeah.
But you can't in the playoffs just run coast to coast and dunk on everybody. We saw like the bottle up defense where it's just stop Giannis at all costs from getting to the rim.
Yeah.
Now I think the Bucks are good enough to overcome that. I think we'll see in the playoffs, but it's almost like your LSU thing where, yeah, Giannis is the best player in the league, but we need to see him do it in the playoffs. Like do it in a series that matters. When it comes down to it, is Nick Nurse, if it winds up being him, is Spoelstra going to be able to bottle him up with his defense? I think the Heat are more equipped to do it.
Yeah, I do as well.
Than Toronto.
Yeah, more athletic big men over there.
But the guys they can put out there, and now we're seeing all the buyout stuff that has happened today. Reggie Jackson leaving the Pistons, and we talked about him going to the Clippers instead of the Lakers. That was a pretty big move.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have a Kawhi, but it wasn't just Kawhi that was doing that to Giannis.
But when you look at Milwaukee, if that's the next thing, who are their next options? And that's the thing that always worries me about Milwaukee, because do they have the weapons around?
Chris Middleton is pretty solid. He's pretty good.
I'm not the biggest Middleton guy. I think he's solid, but I don't look at him and say, oh, there's your +2 right there, because there are other +2s in the league. I think that Miami, if they continue with the way they're going, they can put a real strong battle against Milwaukee.
Right.
I don't think they necessarily beat Milwaukee. Philly, I don't think is going to figure it out. It just looks like they're almost coming to this point where they just don't know. It looks like they could win 3 games at home, but it looks like they'll lose 4 on the road, though, is the problem over there,
Well, as far as it goes, I think Philadelphia is like the most disappointing season.
They have one of the worst road records.
Season.
Yeah, they have one of the best home records, one of the worst roads.
9-19 the last time before the All-Star game on the road. That's like a Knicks record on the road.
They have like 2 or 3. They only have like 2 or 3 losses at home. Like in Philly, they're phenomenal.
So people say that Philadelphia has like a spacing problem, but how do you have a spacing problem on the road but not at home?
Yeah, I just think I think with them it's just morale and chemistry, and on top of the fact that it's just there are 2 dominant egos, but the dominant egos don't coincide with one another. As in, like, Ben doesn't.
I don't think Ben is a dominant ego. I think he's more passive.
It looks like Ben is he's not going to be what they were hoping for. I mean, he does put up Draymond Green numbers. Realistically, is what his numbers are. They do resemble for the most part. You don't want to I don't see Ben Simmons is this guy that you go forward and think, yeah, that's the guy. But it does. But the thing is, the numbers show that when Embiid's not on the floor and Ben's on the floor, the team moves better, the team runs better. Ben doesn't have the injury history like Embiid has. And that's what, it's almost like these two just can't play with one another anymore. But multiple people not like Ben Simmons, though. And that's not been like a new thing that's happened with Ben. I mean, he hasn't been the most liked person in the world for a little bit around the league.
I asked the question, would you rather have Embiid or Simmons? I think Ben Simmons' destiny is to be traded to a different team.
I think so too, but I think they're going to keep Simmons, man.
Yeah, but I mean, they already gave Embiid the contract. I don't know, did Simmons hasn't already got the contract?
Yeah, but I just feel like that Embiid's contract, them moving, I just feel like they think realistically they'll get more for Embiid, I believe. I just feel like they really like Simmons, and when Simmons is out, when Embiid's off the floor, the team runs better. The team is better efficiently.
You know what's crazy about both of those guys is it's almost 2 really good players.
Yeah.
That if this was 10 years ago, that would have been the best team in the league.
Yeah, arguably.
But when you have a point guard that can't shoot, and it's almost like point guards now it used to be like a sin to be a score-first point guard, but when you have a point guard that can't shoot and is not like a scoring point guard, but then you have a center that now wants to go out to the 3-point line to make room for him and shoot threes. It's like, I understand that Embiid is a decent 3-point shooter, but when you see him at the 3-point line, you're like, we pay old white guys to do that. We don't need you to do that.
I think Dion Waiters would be a solid add for them to add with that, because he can score, and it's another guy that can add that is a consistent scorer. I don't know how he fits with everyone going crazy, because it just looks like it's a locker room with a lot of issues right now. And Dion Waiters didn't necessarily leave Miami because he left with a lot of bad baggage behind. And Philly just looks like it's a little out of control too. People blame the coaching in Philly consistently, but eventually, how much of this coaching stuff are you going to keep blaming when guys just can't get over themselves or guys can't play with one another? Eventually, at some point, players need to be held responsible. I can't keep hearing it's always a coach's fault every time when these guys are professionals.
Right.
Basketball, it's not like that, there's more coaching in the NFL than there is in basketball. You know what I mean? I'm not saying coaching's not a big part in basketball, it is, but there's a lot of basketball played where it is these guys, especially nowadays, it's these guys out here. It's about getting your shots up, getting your volume in, and making sure to try to get more shots up than the other one,
As a coach, you're almost more of a manager type as it is in baseball. And we just saw this, not to make it a Michigan thing, but look at what happened with Beeline. He goes from Michigan being one of the, in my opinion, top 5 coaches in college basketball to going to the NBA. And Stretch is laughing over there, but it's true. He was a top 5 coach in college basketball.
You're wrong.
And I'm not wrong. I mean, I'm not wrong at all. Well, we can litigate that later. But then he goes to the Cavs, and it seems like as soon as he got there, the entire team was like, yeah, we're out on this guy.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't help that you call the team slugs or thugs or whatever the hell they call them.
It doesn't help that he doesn't have anybody on his team worth talking about.
Right. But, when you have a team of nobodies and they turn on you, that is just a shit. Like, it's almost like a comparison of I would rather be a Lions fan than a Browns fan, or either way. I would rather be a Pistons fan than a fucking Cavs fan at this point, because that entire situation is a disaster. And at least we got rid of Drummond, and at least we got rid of Reggie Jackson. I would just rather full rebuild.
I don't want
to have Kevin Love hanging around and you're mad because you signed a contract there and now you have to stay there. And then Tristan Thompson, whether he's going to get bought out or not. Colin Sexton, is that they're doing nothing to help his development at all. It's just a disaster.
It doesn't look like it's getting any better anytime soon over there. I mean, there's not anybody going to just bring in. Cleveland's going to be a dumpster fire, I think, for like the next 5 years. It almost seems such as, because there's not going to be this tremendous thing that just changes them all around. Like, yeah, even if they get a couple of players, like we've seen teams like Phoenix, like now, where they're getting these young good players, but it doesn't work right away. It's just these guys just don't work well like that right away. I mean, Minnesota was a team like that when they had their guys. It just hasn't actually worked. So to be in the NBA, it's almost like you have to win free agency at some point, or be top 3 in free agency.
If you're one of those teams, you're never going to do it. If you're Cleveland or Detroit, you're never going to win.
Cleveland has done it twice.
Because one of the best players of all time was born.
Hey, it is what it is, though. How many guys? I mean, like, it is, though. I mean, they've won free agency before.
But
Brooklyn just won a free agency.
That's crazy. That just shows you how bad the Knicks are. And we can talk about this until we're blue in the face.
Yeah. But also it shows
you want to be in New York, and you're only going to the Nets because you don't want to go to the Knicks.
Well, it's because our whole front office, everything's better in our front office.
If you switch owners, he's going to the Knicks.
Well, forgive us because we don't have a shit front office.
No, I'm saying just don't be James Dolan.
Exactly.
Or maybe just don't ask for his medical records. Maybe you just offer him the max no matter what.
But the thing is with basketball's proven that you can go anywhere and be marketable. Like, Russell Westbrook's arguably the most marketable guy, and he was in Oklahoma City for years.
Giannis has his own shoe.
Milwaukee.
Okay, so in getting back to the dunk contest, but anything you can do can make yourself marketable in an age when it's all social media. Derrick Jones Jr. won the dunk contest.
It's going to get him a shoe deal, Puma, I believe.
The next day, just signed with Puma.
Yeah.
So Chase said you need Bradley Beal or Devin Booker instead of Tobias Harris or Al Horford.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately for the 76ers.
Bradley Beal's a big snub this year as well.
Unfortunately for the 76ers, well, I mean, also don't sign a huge contract for a shit team if you want to be noticed.
I would in the NBA, man, because you can force your hand and you're going to fully guarantee with that deal. NBA is, I think, the one sport where forcing your hand is the easiest to do.
So for the Devin Booker thing, the Suns would never let go of him. I don't know why he's saying Devin Booker. I mean, I know he's saying they could help the 76ers. That's fine, but he'll never be off the Suns. They'll re-sign him for sure unless he forces his way out.
He's already got an extension with them, but I mean, it's like, he's going to have to force his way out of there.
As far as Bradley Beal, he re-signed, so he's not even able to change teams until the offseason, and people are talking about him for the Heat. But then when you're saying Tobias Harris and Al Horford, these are moves that the front office made in Philadelphia.
Yes.
Tobias Harris is quiet. You know why the only person in Philadelphia that never makes a complaint or anything is Tobias Harris? Look up his contract.
He's so happy.
You'll laugh your ass off at Tobias,
so happy.
And it's only going to get more funny. He's making in 2 years, he's making $42 million.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like,
so
it's absolutely
everybody's
insane.
like complaining in Philadelphia. Ben Simmons is complaining. The coach is complaining. All these people are complaining. Embiid's complaining about being a dog in a cat cage or whatever the hell that thing was going on.
I mean, it's just.
And then everybody wants to blame Al Horford for all the 76ers problems. If you put Al Horford on the Rockets, he would have been an all-star.
If Al Horford's the reason why your team can't play, that's not the reason why your team can't play.
Right. Admittedly, Al Horford has not been as good this season. That's fine.
But he's not.
But it's because of the system that he's in and the
we
position
talked about that
in.
contract when that contract was made, and I said that was a very stupid contract for the mere fact that how old he is, and it's 4 years. People want to talk about, oh, well, you have to sign those people. His contract is a perfect example of why you don't have to sign people. You can find guys that can put up, at 14 and 7 for a lot cheaper than I don't even know that. I mean, I'm just looking at Horford. I mean, his deal's huge. It's in like it's like a 4-year, $25 million a year. I thought it was.
Yeah, the Celtics were actually lucky to get out from the Al Horford thing because as much as I think Al Horford is still a good player, I don't think that he's going to work out for the 76ers, and I don't think he would have worked out for the Celtics. But
yeah, he's 4-year, 109.
Imagine if you had Al Horford. For who?
For Al Horford's contract is a 4-year, 109.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's why Danny Ainge didn't re-sign him.
I don't blame him.
As soon as it got over $100 million, he said, "I'm not re-signing him." But it's not his fault. He doesn't look good this season. But imagine if you replaced PJ Tucker with Al Horford, then he would have been an all-star.
Al Horford's awesome in that system too because he's such a great distributing center.
Right. And
he's such a great distributing big man that honestly I thought Horford that would work out. But now with that contract, man, you cannot trade guys when you give them these huge deals. Because now you're having to look out to buy out these guys in their last year and then send them out.
He said they should have kept Fultz so they would have had someone to blame.
God bless, I hate watching Fultz play,
well, now they're just putting the blame onto Al Horford, so they just find somebody other than Embiid and
Every
Simmons.
time I think of that draft, I get so annoyed, man. How the hell? And you know what?
Who were the guys that went after him?
It was Lonzo Ball and De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox, in my opinion, should have been the 1 pick that year. I thought he was the best player. Him in Philly right now.
He goes to the Pistons. I have a jersey on right now.
Oh, dude, yeah. But I mean, if De'Aaron Fox at least goes to the Lakers are immediately just better.
It's like the Red Sox thing. Imagine if the 76ers gave that money to Jimmy Butler. Dude, yes. It's like we get rid of Mookie Betts so we can sign. And I could even get it. With
that kind of money, you can almost sign Jimmy Butler.
You can almost sign Jimmy Butler. It's like, what?
Yeah,
wait, what?
4-year, 109, and you gave that money.
But Jimmy Butler would have been suspended by now for like strangling one of those guys.
I think they would have just probably got rid of Ben Simmons at that point. If you have Embiid and then Jimmy going.
Jimmy Butler
Ben,
cannot coexist with a person like Ben Simmons.
And I don't blame him though. It doesn't seem like it's the easiest one to deal with on a consistent basis. You know what I mean? Like it just seems like there are more and more people upset with him.
Should have kept Fultz so they had someone to blame.
Dude, I hate
Well, they're putting
Fultz,
So the best thing Fultz has done in a basketball court in the dunk contest, he threw it off the back of the rim or off the side of the rim to one of the dunk guys.
The fact that he was even allowed anywhere near Chicago during that time was upsetting alone, dude. Like what? Like he's not a rising star. He's not any kind of star.
He's a falling star.
He's becoming a draft bust very, very quickly. And it's rapid.
Well, the good thing for him is he's on the Magic now. So as soon as he leaves the Magic, he'll become an all-star.
Yeah, well, that's usually the way it does go.
Yeah, that's how it goes, right?
I see that.
As soon as you leave the Magic, he'll be on like Indiana in 2 years, and he'll be on the All-Star team. I
know we're transitioning off sports. I mean to do so much. How do you feel about Greg Olson over in Seattle right now?
I mean, it kind of reminds me as far as like the Jimmy Graham thing went, where it's like it should work with Russell Wilson, but I don't know why it didn't. And not to compare.
That's a Graham issue.
Yeah, but Jimmy Graham was better at that point in his career than Greg Olson was in this point in his career.
Greg Olson had a pretty good year, though. I mean, he missed some games, but he had a pretty good year. I mean, his numbers are better than Witten. Everyone's saying Witten should be playing.
I'm only saying that it should work, but I'm kind of nervous as far as the Jimmy Graham thing didn't work.
I think that just adds to my belief, 100% sure, that Tom Brady will not be in New England. That was an ad that I think the Patriots really need to look into going to.
If you want to transition into the NFL, this is something I wanted to do. I wrote down a couple of the main free agents that are going to come up.
Dude, such a crazy free agent. We got 3 or 4 quarterbacks on the move.
I'll read the names and I'll say a name and you just tell me. And the first name we're not going to spend too much time on.
Yeah, we've probably killed that one already. Plenty of time.
But I'll read the names and I want you to tell me if. And we can argue about it if we need to, but I'll read a name and you tell me if you think he's going to be on the same team, a different team, and if you can think of a team.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll start with Dak Prescott. Same team or different team?
I think different team possibly, man. I do think same team. My gut says same teams. I do see Dallas signing long term.
What do you think and what do you think's better? You think different team?
I think same team. I think better team is different team. But the better option for us is different team. I do believe it. I think the formula to quarterback, the formula to win a Super Bowl is you have to win. You have to surround a rookie with a lot of talent and win on his rookie deal. That's just where it's going. The last time we saw a quarterback with a big deal was Manning, and that was arguably his worst year when he won it. You don't see big contract quarterbacks now. Now, I'm not saying that works for every team because obviously you're Mahomes. That's not going to be a case for him. You're going to pay Mahomes whatever. You're going to pay Russell Wilson whatever. But with Dak, I just think better thing is for different team, and you got to surround a young guy with a lot of talent. We have a lot of talent to surround a young guy with right now.
So you think same team, but you think it'd be better on a different team?
Yeah, I think same team, but I think it'd be better a different team, to be honest.
Well, so maybe before that I read the rest of the names, I'll read the top 5 teams that have the most cap room going into 2020. The Bucks, Buccaneers are number 1, ahead of Miami.
Yeah.
The Dolphins are number 2. The Bills are number 3. The Giants are number 4. You know who's number 5?
The Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Yeah,
But
it's because we're paying everybody right now.
It's gonna get taken up by probably franchising Amari Cooper and then whatever they pay Dak Prescott, which is whenever we're just gonna need to stretch like on emergency, like whatever it's called. As soon as Dak Prescott signs his deal, we need to come here like right away.
Yeah,
and talk about it.
Let me have a vent. Let me have a strong vent. Because when I see him making $38 million a year, and you're telling me he's $8 million better,
I'm just gonna have Rob with like something tied off on his arm, just, like nodding out, like God.
Not prepared for it, but I think that's what's gonna happen.
Okay, so the second free agent, Tom Brady.
Different team.
Same team or different
team?
We talked about this a little bit last week. You think he's going to the Chargers or the Raiders?
The team that I see, that's the thing. I don't know exactly what team it's going to be. I just don't see him going back to New England because there's nothing to win with in New England at this point. You're not going to go back because the Bills make a step up at all. The Bills can win that division. Like, they just have to make a step up. I don't see New England all of a sudden getting immediately better. They're not going to be this much better. N'Keal Harry, I'm sorry, maybe he has a huge transcendent year. That's something I can't truly predict, though. I mean, to have his, Julian Edelman, he can't be your consistent guy. You're going to bracket coverage him all year like they did this year. You have running backs that you don't know who's who, and you know when one running back's going to run the ball for sure. There's no weapons around him anymore. I think different team.
Okay.
But the team, I don't know. I couldn't give you. I mean.
No, I was just curious. I'm just running through it real quick.
That's tough.
Phillip Rivers, same team, different team?
Different team, yeah, that's for sure.
Different team?
I think Tampa.
What team are you thinking, Tampa?
I like Tampa.
Okay, so that'll bring us later into Jameis.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't write Jameis down. I don't know why, but Jameis, same team, different team?
Different
obviously,
team, Chicago.
Unless you think they're going the XFL 2-quarterback system.
Oh, God. I think different team Chicago, though, with Jameis Winston. I think Winston and Chicago could be it because they're upset with not being able to move the ball downfield. Jameis can throw the ball downfield. He can't, because he turns the ball over a lot, but he's always been able to move the ball downfield. Granted, he had Godwin, and he also had probably the best deep.
Why do you think different team?
I just don't see them spending the money on Jameis Winston right there. And Arians kind of floated it out there already that they can win. They can win without him. He's flat out said that, and you don't really hear that from your head coach.
Out of the
and
league.
they come back. God bless you. I don't think that.
Into the XFL.
In jail, Jesus.
Same team, crab leg team.
Oh man.
The XFL is going to expand next year because it's doing pretty well this year. So it's going to be like the Cincinnati crab legs or something like that.
Jesus Christ, dude. I do not want to see that. Hopefully it doesn't play the XFL.
Ryan Tannehill, same team, different team.
Same team. I do think Tennessee is a kind of a dark horse option for Tom Brady. But I could see them sticking with Ryan. I can see them, if they miss out on that, they go right back to Ryan Tannehill right away. I don't see them looking at Phillip Rivers thinking they go for him over Tannehill. But I can see them looking at Brady being that option, and if not, Tannehill being the fallback. But I think Tannehill is a titan, to be honest with you.
I don't think Tannehill will be a fallback. I think with what he did last year, I think they definitely bring him back.
Mm-hmm. It's Tom's in free agency, and it's like, it's almost who do you go next?
It's almost going to be, other than different team, same team, the more other interesting thing is going to be like, what is going to be the market for these guys? Like, if they are on different teams, what are they all going to get paid?
Yeah.
Because you're looking at guys like Brady. I had Breeze written down earlier, but we should have led with that, I guess. Breeze is coming back. He said he's coming back, but I don't think he said he's going to the Saints. Did he say he's going to go into free agency? I meant to clarify that before we came on.
With who? With Drew Brees. He said he's coming back, and Kamara put a picture of him, Thomas, and
did he say he's
up.
coming back to the Saints?
I would imagine
technically
he
be a
is.
free. Okay.
I would imagine he is. With everything that was going on there, you just had Kamara put up a picture of the three guys of their trio out there. I don't see him coming back and not going to the Saints.
Right. Derrick Henry, same team, different team.
Same team.
You think so?
I think they're going to pay him.
What would you pay him in that kind of market? Because he's going to want. What do you think he's going to want? Who's he going to be compared to?
Dude, he's going to get Zeke money. Yeah, he's going to want that, but I don't think it's worth it.
Who's he talking about? Injured reserve.
I don't know. I mean.
Booker T join the 49ers?
Or Booker T will join the. Jesus Christ, I like that. Booker T, man. I thought he died.
I could see him as like a linebackers coach. You know, you got a bookend or.
He just comes out so aggressive. I love Booker T, dude.
So you think Derrick Henry, same team? What kind of money are we looking at? Okay, so do you think
I can see a 3-year deal. I mean, he's gonna see some big money.
Derrick Henry more money or less money than who's the guy from the Chargers? Who's
Melvin, he'll make
Gordon?
more money than Melvin.
Think so?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he'll make more money than Melvin. I think Melvin should have signed the deal when he got the deal that was offered by the Chargers because it did not work out for him doing that. And maybe he goes to Tampa with Phillips as a possibility because they need some run game over there. But I'm not 100%.
Man, can you imagine Derrick Henry and Chris Godwin and Mike Evans?
That'd be fun. That would be a fun
So
offense.
we forgot when we said Jameis Winston, same team, different team. Do we want to do any kind of jokes about the LASIK eye surgery? Is that too easy? Does anybody want to do anything like that? Or
if his eyes were that bad, he would have gotten it right away. I'm not hearing this. I understand he just threw 30 interceptions. They're probably like, let's just wait till after the season, try to help this out. But it's.
But he's been in the league for a while.
That's what I'm saying. And it's not like interceptions haven't been if he goes down, he goes 3 years, he has to throw more than 10 interceptions.
I kind of see why sports
wow.
shows do this this or that thing because it's kind of fun so far what we've been doing. So Jameis Winston next year, more picks or less picks?
Less picks. There's no way he throws more than 30 again. There's no way.
You're doubting Jameis Winston.
Yeah, for throwing. I think when you throw 30 interceptions, it's so historically bad you can't repeat that.
You're daring him.
Yeah, I am, dude. If he throws 31 interceptions,
and then he has
61.
He has
in 2
the
years.
first ever LASIK eye surgery, where he reverses it back to how it used to be.
God bless, dude. There's no way he throws 30 picks again. If he throws more than 18, I'd be shocked actually.
More than 18. So you're high on Jameis.
I don't think he's gonna play enough games to throw that many interceptions either, though.
You're really skirting the edge here. You're towing the line.
I don't think he's gonna play all 16 games next year. I think he'll get 10 games in. 40. If he throws 40 interceptions, dude, Jesus Christ.
I think he looks at it and he's like, all right, 30.
He's talking about he wants $30 million a year. That's what he wants, man. That's the quarterback market everyone talks about. There's that BS market talk, man.
Okay,
I hate it.
so would you rather have? I never want to bring it to this. Dak or Jameis Winston?
Dak.
For the price that it's going to be?
Yeah. If we only had two options, sign Dak for 38 and sign Jameis for 30, both for 4 years, I'd be like, yeah, just give Dak his
What do you
money.
think Jameis is going to get next year, realistically?
That depends on this whole quarterback market, man. That's what.
But there's so many quarterbacks available.
That's the
it's
thing,
not. This is more quarterbacks that have been available than have been available.
I mean, for God's sakes, Teddy Bridgewater's talking he wants $30 million. That's asinine.
Why?
He's never been that good.
But he would have gotten it if he would have stayed healthy and he would have kept on playing.
I don't know, because they didn't lose that playoff game in Minnesota because just Blair Walsh. They lost because they went to the red zone 4 times and scored 0 touchdowns.
Right, but
that has to do with the quarterback not being able to throw touchdowns. The guy threw 13 touchdowns and made the Pro Bowl 1 year.
I just think you're underestimating what quarterbacks just get. I know it sounds crazy, but good, decent quarterbacks get Nick Foles money. Good quarterbacks get.
But that's a problem with the league. That's one of the biggest problems.
It's just supply and demand. There's not that many good quarterbacks.
There's no demand in Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater doesn't Teddy Bridgewater with what he did in New Orleans was cool and all. Don't get me wrong, but he has the best receiver in football, arguably. He has a very explosive run game behind him. Even with Kamara out, Latavius Murray looks good, and their defense looked very good, especially when he was out there playing. I just don't look at Teddy and think you can't invest $30 million into a quarterback and tell me Teddy Bridgewater is your future, especially when these deals are going to be more than 2-3 years.
Depends on the team, I guess.
New England, I can see as a possibility working with him because he's good with following his
I
system.
want Jameis to go to New England so bad.
I was actually hoping Stafford's a possibility in New England.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what to say about the Lions.
Yeah,
we'll do whatever. Just
trade your pick, man.
Whatever. Who cares?
Steal 3 draft picks.
I'm a beaten dog in the corner.
I feel you there, buddy. No, as a Cowboys fan, I feel you there.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I do, man. We suck. We just went 8-8 and lost the division to nobody.
You just have a crazier, louder owner.
The thing is, people think Dallas. That's the number one thing that gets me. People think Dallas has had a good year. We didn't. We didn't make the playoffs.
No, not last year, but I mean, it's you can't compare yourself to the Lions. I mean,
we're both missing the playoffs.
Give me something here.
I gotta. Third. You're right. You're better off as you have the third.
I gotta be number 1 in something around here.
I feel you there.
So who's that guy that we were talking about? Stretch from the XFL, the quarterback.
PJ
something.
PJ Walker.
PJ Walker. Same team, new team.
Dude.
Same league, new league.
I think there are guys that come in the draft every year better than him.
New league. New league.
He can't play. I think there are guys that come in the draft every year better than him, dude.
Houston's got to keep him.
Yeah, I think the XFL is awesome for him. I think that's
You know what I'm excited about?
That Houston franchise has to keep him.
Stretch and I are in on the XFL. Rob is out on the XFL.
I don't like past products, man.
Come on, man.
Okay.
I don't.
You know what's going to be interesting is when people start going from league to league and from college to league.
League to league.
So when you start having Gardner Minshew's coming to the XFL,
Fine,
and
I don't
PJ
even like
Walker's
watching
going to the NFL, and you start having college guys going from instead of college, there's going to be a time when a guy needs money.
That's what I said last week. That needs to happen.
When a guy needs money and he stops going to Clemson and he starts going to make $80,000 in the XFL, it's going to get interesting, and they're going to make it past this year. The St. Louis Battlehawks, I think it was, outdrew a team in the St. Louis Blues that just won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
As far as viewership goes, more people watch the Battlehawks than they watch the Blues. Now, I know there's more games. Before anybody says that there's more games, I know there's more games, but when you have somebody watching and the viewership didn't go down, it either stayed the same or went up. I'm watching it. People are watching it.
I don't know, man. Here's my thing. It's like, when you watch something get made food-wise, it's fun to go to Kobe's and watch the prep. That's college football. It's fun to eat the meal. That's the NFL. I know it's not fun to watch you being done with the meal and what happens after. That's the XFL. I don't care to watch these guys that are suing the league because they got beat up in the league, and now they're playing in some BS league, beating each other up, and they should not be playing football, a lot of these guys. I watched a lot of these guys already play. I had to watch Mac McGloin for a little bit. You know how painful that was? There's no league where Matt McGloin should be starting, and it's televised.
Well, that's an issue. So when you get to this point, would you rather be, and forgetting about the money, would you rather be starting in the XFL or a third-string quarterback in the NFL?
Third-string quarterback in the NFL.
Why?
Because you make so much more money and
I'm
you
saying
don't get
forget
touched.
about the money.
NFL, because you have a better job
If you're
opportunities
Tim
down the
Tebow
road.
and you love football and you're coming out of college, would you rather sit there and hold a clipboard or start and play football?
Sit there and hold a clipboard.
Look at Cardell Jones. You don't think he could be a third-string quarterback in the NFL right now?
No, he got cut by 2 teams. No.
You're talking about the XFL MVP frontrunner right now, my friend.
PJ Walker's got to be that guy. No way it's Cardell Jones.
It was a tough week for.
It's close.
It's close. That's why you got to keep watching. I mean,
dude, I just don't. I'm sorry, I can't get into the XFL. I just don't like the whole past products. Just still keeping it going.
I'm just saying when
there's a reason why I was glad. There's a reason why I didn't enjoy watching them even play in the NFL. They weren't good.
I'm just saying, when we're handing out squares for the XFL Super Bowl, whatever it's called, I don't want you trying to get your name in there.
Dude, I am not grabbing any squares.
When we're hosting a traveling drunks party for the XFL, what is it called? Super Bowls or the?
I don't think they could call it that.
What is it called?
Maybe they could call it Super Bowl with an X instead of an S.
The X Bowl?
Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
I don't want you trying to get into the party, all right? The velvet ropes will be closed, my friend.
I will not be trying to get into an XFL party.
It's now or never.
I would much rather be a third-string
Next week,
quarterback.
do or die, you're going to have 2-0 teams against 0-2. There's never been an 0-3 team in the XFL that's made it to the Super Bowl.
I'm not doing
Those aren't stakes?
There's no stake.
Are you not entertained?
There's nothing I can watch this to entertain me. There's not, man. I think if you got 5-star recruits from high school and got them to play, then yeah, that's when you make your next big move. But this consistent, we're just gonna get old products. Like, who tell me what NFL players can be like, you know what, I'd rather go to the XFL. Because you don't. Because even if you're just a backup at Gardner Minshew, you know you're gonna make a lot more money than you ever will, and you'll never get
Wouldn't
hit.
you rather go win the XFL MVP?
No.
The XVP?
I'd rather have on my resume if I was blessed with one of those opportunities to be saying, yeah, I was back in the NFL for my career, but that gets you into coaching, gets you into something. I just don't think the XFL does. Quincy Carter, oh Jesus Christ, dude. Quincy Carter.
Getting into what you said earlier about players suing leagues and everything like that, I have written down here as one of my notes, everybody hates the Astros. I kind of thought the story would go away a little bit. Everybody still hates.
Oh, it's getting worse.
It almost.
Well, because they're bullshit apology, man.
Right. So go through this. To go through the timeline, they pretty much none of the players got punished.
No.
They fired Alex Cora and they fired AJ Hinch and Jeff Luhnow, and they gave the players a podium to apologize. And,
oh God, what a mess that was.
They ruined it.
And the owner made it the worst when he said that when he said that this didn't have anything to do with us winning a title, then the guy referred the question to him, and then he took back what he said, and then said it again. I'm like, what, dude? Like, you are making this even worse for your team right now. Just all you guys shut up.
There's already been people, I don't know if it's like spring training or whatever they're playing now, or press conferences. There's people that have come in and smuggled it in and they bang on a trash can when, what's his name, Altuve is like speaking. And it's not going to get better. They put out the over-under this week.
85.
I think it was, I saw 80, no, they put out the over-under of players to get hit.
Oh man.
About 83 and a half.
Well, you saw in our group chat, my big thing was this, you know what? If I was a hard-throwing guy, yeah, some of these guys are wearing some bruises because, you know, it is what it is. And that's the thing in baseball. Baseball's very, hey, the players take care of it. It's unwritten rules. We're about to see unwritten rules go fully out there because there are going to be some games where you have to go at the start of the game and give warnings. Like Houston going against the Dodgers, they're going to have to give warnings before the game starts. Houston going against the Yankees, you have to go out there and give warnings before the game starts because there's a lot of bad blood. Now you're having the star players come out and talk. Mike Trout talked today.
When Mike Trout starts saying things, you know it's bad.
Mike Trout came out. Aaron Judge came out today. I mean, there's all these guys coming out. Markakis came out today. You have all these guys coming out talking about how they're just really upset with the league. And it's like Bellinger, you know, what's his face? Redhead over Josh Turner.
Yeah.
These guys are all coming out, and you can tell there's going to be a lot.
You don't want Josh Turner mad at you, I'll tell you that.
There's going to be a lot of bad blood.
He's not a pitcher, but.
There's going to be a lot of bad blood coming into this season, and you know what? They're going to wear a lot of it on them as well because these guys are going to get hit. I mean, it's just the way it is, and it's the way it needs to be.
Do you subscribe to the theory, I've heard people say this, that this controversy is good for baseball because it gets people more interested and entertained?
Baseball's better at controversy.
Are you not gonna tune in to see what happens? And it's not just gonna happen in game 1. It's gonna happen in game 50.
Yeah.
All the fans are gonna be talking shit to all these. You know how fans are assholes already?
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting seeing the road record for the Astros this year. That's what's gonna be interesting.
Right, and Stretch brought up the point when we were talking about the MVP between Judge and.
Did Braun comment? God.
He just denied everything. He said he wasn't a part of it. We're like, we know Ryan Braun, we get it. And then he just tried to blame the guy who was bringing the results.
Ryan Braun, that's the only open interview that I think may have been worse than the Astros with Ryan Braun.
And Aaron Rodgers backed him, and he betrayed his friendship.
Oh, dude. Aaron Rodgers, what a beautiful guy.
So to get into this, it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse as the season goes on and everything like that. And then even Carlos Correa came out and said, like, oh, you're ignorant. You have to read up on the facts, this and that. It's like, listen, you guys cheated. We know you cheated.
Yeah,
Figure it out.
It's like Bellinger said. You hit a walk-off home run to go to the World Series against Chapman. You're not telling people not to rip your jersey off. It's not conscious in your mind.
He had a bad tattoo. It's like,
shut up. Like, come on. You think everybody cares about your tattoo they're saying? Like, let's be like, it's just the excuses are awful. Like, it's worse and worse. It started off being really bad, and I wasn't agreeing with Mike Fiers for doing what he did because now you're in Oakland, so you share. But it's almost like there were multiple guys like Brian McCann that came up and said, I don't want to do this anymore. Tony Kemp said he didn't want to be a part of it. The guys didn't want to be a part of it. They didn't come back.
The thing I don't believe is the AJ Hinch thing, where they're like, oh, he broke TVs in the clubhouse, and now they're saying Altuve didn't want to be a part of it, and this and that. It's like, oh, the one guy who won the MVP, now we're saying like he didn't want to be a part of it.
Who was a part of it then? Let's hear, was it Bregman?
So he heard somebody banging a trash can, he's like, I don't hear it.
Yeah, he told everyone to stop. He supposedly went in the clubhouse, started screaming at everyone to stop, but I guess nobody listened and took it serious. It kept going on and on. The thing is, teams are complaining about it for 3 years. You have multiple teams filing reports to Major League Baseball saying this was going on, and baseball didn't take it serious.
Well, that's what they're saying. Everything you read is that everyone knew what was going on for much longer than we just found out about, and they're not punishing anybody or anything that happened. And now the players are like, oh, fuck that, like we're not about this.
It's the more, like I said, the more they run into it, I just think it's getting worse and worse for them, dude. Rightfully so. I hope so. It's gonna be fun to see what happens in that division this year, man. You're gonna see a lot of teams are possibly gonna come up and get over on them. You know.
Imagine if Altuve starts like 1 for 10 or something like that.
Dude. There's gonna be some games where when these guys go on their slumps, they're gonna go on hard slumps, I believe, too, because it's not only that it's gonna just be because every year, very rarely will you not, because even Mike Trout he'll go into a 20 at bat, 30 at bat slump where it just doesn't. But you're seeing 500 other at bats in the year. So
my thing is too with the commissioner and everything, and they were talking shit about him, where it's like he said, like the championship trophy is just a hunk of metal.
Yeah.
It's like, how can a commissioner possibly handle this worse?
Yeah.
Because he can't punish them now. and nobody's ever been punished for the unwritten rules of baseball where you hit somebody. But now you're going to penalize the people hitting these cheaters because you didn't punish them, and now you're going to punish the people more than you punish the cheaters. You can't win.
I'm not for here's the thing. If they strip the title, it needs to just go down as that nobody won that year. It is what it is. I don't think you do that because
people do talk about the Dodgers.
Yes.
They did lose games at home.
Yes.
And
the Dodgers shouldn't earn the title after that. But at the same time, it's like
would you want a championship that way if you were a Dodgers fan?
No.
So what are you gonna go celebrate tonight if they say you won the championship and feel like less of a loser? Like maybe Kershaw should not be so shitty in the playoffs.
Oh man, that's great. I love it. But it's just, as a whole, like I said, it was just.
Maybe it's a conspiracy theory that because they couldn't give him the title, they gave him Mookie Betts. What do you think?
Well, that's a move that's going to get them into title talks right now, man. It's a talk that's going to get them in there.
Should've never gave the Dodgers money.
We've seen that. Jesus Christ.
Fuck your payroll. Have you seen the stuff that's come out about how little the Red Sox actually saved in money as far as like?
Yeah. It did nothing for them realistically. I was talking to Stretch. I understand that people aren't on this, but they're very. I just don't believe in 12-year contracts. I didn't like that Cole got 10, but it is what it is.
Well, then I've heard people say like, okay, maybe you don't want to give the contract to Mookie Betts where it's like $420 million, 12 years. Maybe instead of just trading him away for nothing and not really actually saving anything, lying to the fans and saying you want to get under the exempt tax or luxury tax. Maybe you just wait to see until he goes free agency and people don't give him the Mike Trout contract, and then maybe you can see if you can get him for like $320 or $330.
Something more in your favor.
In 9 years, maybe you could just try.
But I just thought them getting rid of him as soon as
if the Tigers can give Miguel Cabrera what they gave him, the Red Sox should not be complaining about fucking money.
But also Miguel Cabrera, Miguel Cabrera is at one point probably the best hitter next to Pujols in baseball. He was.
So who are the top 5 hitters in baseball right now?
None of these guys. Not any of these guys are Miguel Cabrera when he got that contract. Not a single guy in baseball is. Not a single guy in baseball is Albert Pujols when he got his contract.
Right, but in the history of the Red Sox, going back for position players, how good is Mookie Betts?
J.D. Drew was a better hitter than him last year and the year before. J.D. Drew is like the people keep knocking like J.D. Drew's not worth keeping. Like J.D. Drew is already the best hitter in baseball.
We're talking about position players other than just hitting.
Yeah, and I get that, but like baseball,
Mookie Betts is better than J.D. Drew
as an overall player.
Right.
Yeah, but at the plate, you're gonna take J.D. Drew at the plate before, but overall player, you're gonna take Mookie. My thing with Mookie though is, and with J.D. as well, this is why you have to have opt-in and opt-outs in contracts. When these teams don't give themselves chances in these contracts with team options, it hurts them. You gave a player option to JD. JD has a full no-trade clause. You handcuff yourself as a franchise by saying, this player's going to make all the running, and that's what it's going to be. JD Drew opted in. He decided he's not going to waive his trade clause for any team this year and wants to play in Boston, and that's his contract. Now you just screwed yourself, and you had to get rid of Mookie.
At the very worst, they could have kept him for this season. And
and
they would have had a much better chance.
They should have done Fields May, too. How did you only get Verdugo? Like, everyone's talking about Alex Verdugo all the time, and it's been 2-3 years. We haven't heard much
it's a conspiracy theory. They gave the Dodgers into the championship. They gave him Mookie Betts.
Okay, man, that's the only way they'll beat the
opposite of the Kobe trade.
They'll look as...
Or not the Kobe trade, the Chris Paul trade.
Oh, man.
Is that what I'm thinking of, the Chris Paul trade? Yeah, Chris Paul trade. Dustin Pedroia is still there. I know that he has no rings in Detroit, Stretch. I understand that, but it's not because of lack of trying by.
Because Miguel Cabrera is maybe the last of the great hitters we talk about, especially because hitting then was. You got guys playing baseball now. They're not what Miguel Cabrera was coming out. Especially Miguel Cabrera won a Triple Crown for God's sake.
We had our chance to win. We had our chance to win, and it just didn't happen. And sometimes in baseball,
Prince Fielder there, Victor Martinez there, man. You guys had a good team.
David not worth the price, as you call him.
David not worth the price. Hey, he's worth the price for LA. He's only half price now.
And the Red Sox are paying half the damn contract.
That's so I didn't get it.
You didn't save any money.
I thought the whole point is okay. When they got rid of Price, I'm like, okay, well now
you're getting Mookie Betts, but we'll also pay for David Price after.
That's the thing. They took half his contract. I was like, no, you're getting rid of Mookie Betts. They should take the full contract. That's what it should go as.
The Dodgers front office should just wear ski masks to the front office every single day because they just.
They're free agents. They're free. They spend that is a team that just keeps spending and spending and spending.
And not only that, but one of the prospects you got is like a lifelong Yankees fan that's named after Derek Jeter. Who even wants that? It'd be like if Michigan signed like the top quarterback prospect, but his name was like Urban Meyer Jr.
Oh man, but they would love it.
No, I would not.
That's their way of
Unless
getting
we want
back
a
at
chip,
him.
and then I'll take
Oh,
it.
see, there we go. Now you're a Meyer guy.
I just want chips.
Chips.
I'm like the Cookie Monster. I just
Straight
want
chips.
Maybe.
Good old Pudge, man. Good old Pudge.
Oh man. Anything else you got for this week? You didn't watch the Daytona. You didn't watch the Dunk. What were you doing this weekend?
This weekend I was working a lot this weekend.
I thought you were gonna say laundry. I thought you
No,
were doing a lot of laundry.
no. I was working a lot this weekend. But what I'm looking forward to this weekend is let's see Deontay Wilder go out there, man. Get that knockout.
Yes. Do you want to talk about that at all? I know it's not something that can lead the show or anything, but if you're into boxing at all, and was it last weekend that we witnessed John Jones?
Yes, it was. Yeah, and it was.
It was a close fight. I think people thought it was pretty controversial, but I thought Jones won mostly because I bet on him.
But it's my thing when people say it's controversial. I'm like, the thing is, you don't see guys that are belt holders holding the title for like 12 straight fights lose on decision. That
Right.
doesn't ever happen. That's just the sport itself. That's always been the sport itself.
John Jones definitely won the last two, definitely lost the first two. And if the middle was even, then
Then it
give
goes to
John
Jones. Yeah, because he has the title. You're not going to draw it. And it's like if you hold the title, you have to do something to win the title.
So-
Max didn't do enough to win the title there.
I agree. I would like to see it again. I
Yeah,
thought it
me
was a
too.
good fight.
I want to see another fight between those two.
So what's your predictions then for Wilder Fury?
Wilder Fury, I think, is going to be, it's because of how low the heavyweights are in boxing, how it's like both guys, these are the best fighters in it. And this the best fighter, like Tyson's even said, this is the hardest I've ever been punched by.
Did you see Fury said that he wants to knock him out? I mean, I know it's boxing build-up. They say all what they're going to say. And Fury said that he wants to knock him out, not go to decision.
Yeah.
I think it's Wilder.
I think it's going to be a great fight. I think it's going to be the fight that we all want to see finally in heavyweight. I think boxing's getting a big win with this fight, especially with Mayweather gone and Canelo not fighting. For them to get any type of big fight that they have without those two involved whatsoever is a big fight now, for them. And it's big. It's good to see that's happening for boxing. But
I agree with Stretch. He's saying not better than Tyson, though. But you know how much bigger these guys are both than Tyson?
Yeah.
And I just recently rewatched the...
But hold on. Mike Tyson, though, hold on. Mike Tyson is fighting bigger fighters as well, though. Like,
No. I just recently rewatched...
that's not a Fury.
I just recently rewatched Muhammad Ali documentary, and it was sad towards the end. But to see when you have guys like, was it Frazier, who's not even bigger but a harder puncher, when he comes in and is just delivering punishment, like the heavyweight division now.
Foreman.
But the heavyweight division is filled with freaks. Like, these guys are all bigger than all those guys. I'm not saying that Tyson would have lost or anything like that, but by all accounts, Deontay Wilder is just as hard of a puncher as Mike Tyson.
Yeah, but I don't agree with that because Tyson's more of a compact.
Compact, sure, but
he's
Deontay-
faster.
but-
He's a better boxer. Like Deontay, if you take away the length from Wilder, he's not top 10 in the heavyweights.
So if
his length helps him out a lot.
Okay,
yeah.
so if you take away the strong arm from Mahomes, he's not as good of a quarterback. You have the length.
I understand he has the length, but he's not better than Mike. He hasn't fought anyone. Name me 3 fighters he's beaten.
No, so I was getting into this point when I was thinking a lot about Floyd Mayweather when I was watching the Ali documentary, and you have the Mayweather 50-0, and I'm watching Muhammad Ali beat Sonny Liston, and I'm watching him beat Frazier, and I'm watching him beat these guys. I'm like, Mayweather never fought any of these guys that are as good. And I was always a big Mayweather fan, but he never fought any of those guys who are nearly as good. And
It's a
you
different weight class too, though. Their weight class, heavyweights are fighting for knockouts, and the weight
but
class.
there's still good fighters and legendary fighters in every weight
He beat
class.
Canelo Alvarez, and Canelo Alvarez had him on the rope for the whole fight.
Canelo
was up and coming.
But Canelo was too young at the time.
But he was up and coming.
Right, but if they were at their same peaks, I think Canelo might have had a chance. But at the time, Canelo had no chance.
I just thought Canelo had all the chance in the world. It's just that's what made Mayweather the fighter that he is he's on the ropes dodging all of his punches. When Canelo has anyone on the ropes, they're not dodging, they're not moving away from him. His power is overtaking them consistently. That's what landed him in the fight with Mayweather. And Mayweather made him look foolish even when he was on the ropes and hiding on defense. Everyone,
But like you said, Mayweather was at the peak of his powers, and Canelo was on his way up.
yeah.
Canelo fought that fight when he was not ready to fight that fight.
I mean, it was a fight that, like I said, it's not like Mayweather was young. It's not like Mayweather was not.
But his fighting style. But Mayweather's fighting style never relied on him being youthful.
No,
he was always intelligent.
It's his weight. Yeah, it's his weight class.
Yeah,
He fights
as dumb
on
as
guard.
people think he is in real life, that's how smart he is as a boxer.
Yes, the generation barrier is huge
because I'm looking at now Wilder and Fury. These guys are inches and pounds heavier.
But those are only 2 guys.
Right. I mean, but
These two guys don't fight good guys. The heavyweight's very bad right now. Everyone's talking about Joshua over and over again. He got knocked out by a dude that fixes cars, it looks like.
right. But the second time he came back and you beat him decisively.
Thank God. Like, that's
He
a
just
fight.
didn't take him seriously. Watching the documentary of Ali did not take guys seriously, and that's why he lost.
No, yeah, but
He
like,
lost to Norton, and he should have beat Norton both times.
But it's just-
and he admittedly laid back, and the same thing with Frazier, and he laid back too many
But
rounds.
Frazier was also a very good fighter too. I mean, Frazier
I'm not
was-
comparing
yeah.
Anthony Joshua to Norton or Frazier.
Like Frazier, Foreman. I mean, there are a lot of great fighters in the
Well,
North.
Foreman he beat decisively. Foreman, I think he only fought once,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I'm comparing the guys now as far as size and strength and everything. Wilder is like Mike Tyson. I'm not saying that he's better or anything, but he's bigger and taller and as strong as Tyson is.
Well, Tyson's a short dude. Tyson's like
That's what I'm
5'9".
saying. But I'm saying you're saying he's more compact and everything. We're never gonna see it happen like he said
We
with the
saw Tyson fight
generational
guys
gaps.
that big plenty of times. We saw him fight guys 6'6", 240, 250. Like, he was in the heavyweight when heavyweight was actually
But nobody
close to his
nobody
prime.
punched as hard as he did. There's been boxing experts that have come on,
Yeah,
like
I
Teddy
mean-
Atlas and all these other guys who have come on and said Wilder punches as hard, if not harder, than Mike Tyson, and he's bigger.
I get what you're going on that one, but at the
You
same
can
time,
he did. He can lose a fight to Ortiz the whole time, and all it takes is one punch.
I'm looking at Wilder, and the thing is with this boxing and heavyweights, I just don't like looking at, because they dominate this era, I don't look at them as like, oh wow, because heavyweight boxing has died out a lot. Like, this is the biggest fight heavyweight
Yeah,
boxing.
nobody cares about boxing
Yeah.
anymore. People
That's
barely
just-
even care about this fight unless you care about
Yeah,
boxing.
that's the thing. Like, that's where it is now. That's why I just don't.
Otherwise, we would have led with it.
Yeah, like if this happened, 15 years ago,
We
you'd
would have
lead
talked
with
the
this.
whole show about
Yeah,
it.
you'd lead up with this one because that's just where it is now. Like, heavyweight sadly just isn't where it's at, and that's why Mayweather keeping the lightweights and everyone going consistently throughout his career was kind of a big thing, because you didn't really look at guys at 140, 150 and wanted to watch them fight. It's
But-
like you want to watch the big guys fight, and finally that was taken away.
So I'm going with Wilder just for
I
the
like
fact
Wilder.
that he can lose the whole fight. And the only thing is, we've seen Fury get knocked down by
Yeah.
his punch and get back up, which no human can do.
Yeah.
Like, one of us can punch the other one with a glove and we'll be knocked out. Let alone Deontay Wilder hitting you with a punch, knocking you down, and you get back up.
Yeah.
My thing is, Fury has said he's ready to retire after this contract and everything like
Yeah,
that.
he's 3 fights left on his contract.
And it seems like Wilder's not in that area. I don't know. I can see Wilder knocking Fury out. I cannot see Fury knocking Wilder out.
We'll see, man. I think it's gonna be. I'm going for Wilder. I can see it happening on either side. That's the thing about this fight. I think when it comes down to is Wilder's got to be ready to fight a long fight, not just to be having the mindset I'm going to knock him out.
Well,
in
they
2 or
went the
3
distance
rounds.
last time,
Yeah,
so-
and I think if Wilder had a little bit better conditioning, I think he could have came out and won that fight too.
We'll see. We'll see a lot. I don't really care always about like weigh-ins and stuff,
Yeah.
but it'll be curious to see how both of them look because Fury notoriously has come down from a huge weight that he
Yeah.
lost.
Yeah.
And we'll see what shape they're both in. But I think both of these guys hate each other enough that they're not going to take either one lightly.
Yeah,
And I'll be reluctant to bet on it. I will because I'm a degenerate.
Yeah.
But the fact that the first one was a tie, right? Was it a tie or was it?
It was tie.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean,
That just tells you.
I have I have a
man.
sneaking suspicion we're gonna have a third fight. To this day.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be their next trio in boxing, realistically.
So Stretch said if Tyson hit Fury, he's not getting up. But you think Wilder doesn't punch hard? What do you mean? You think any boxing expert has said Wilder punches just as hard as
Yeah,
Tyson?
Wilder's speed's nowhere near Mike Tyson's, and he may punch as hard as him, but Mike Tyson does punch as hard as him, and his speed is.
Doesn't matter how fast you get hit, it matters
That's
how
the
hard you get
craziest
hit.
thing I've ever heard. That it does not matter how fast your hands are. In boxing.
Maybe you're not going to see it coming, but you're going to. The hit is the
He
same.
is small and he's compact in his body. If he beats his ribs in like he can do, that man's collapsing. Like he's fought guys like that's what I'm saying. Like Tyson's fought every fighter he fought was bigger than him. There wasn't a fighter that was eye level with him in the heavyweights. Like it's like yeah. No, they're dropping weight. Like he wasn't fighting people eye level by any
A lot of
means.
them too back then. You say the heavyweight game is weak now. A lot of the fighters, if you watch, I read the Mike Tyson book. I watched the Mike Tyson documentaries. A lot of the fights he fought, the guys who fought him lost before they even started fighting because they were so intimidated. It's not the same now. Tyson Fury is not intimidated by Deontay
Because he's the
Wilder.
best fighter outside of Wilder, maybe, or vice versa.
But Tyson fought good fighters also, and he intimidated them.
The
to
last
death.
guy, who was that guy that Wilder fought and knocked him out like in the first round? He was terrified to fight him in all reality. He was talking all that trash. And then, yes. Like, come on, you saw him
He
in the
said
ring.
he was gonna kill him.
He was he couldn't. Yes, and this guy couldn't even.
And
throw a
Wilder's come out and
These
said in the
guys-
past he's gonna murder guys.
These guys are not like these guys are intimidated to fight the better fighters too.
At any rate,
Yes.
at any rate, we're all excited about the fight. It's gonna happen on Saturday around midnight, and I'm super excited about it.
It's gonna be a fun fight to watch. I'm excited for this one.
I'm pumped. I guess we're all going Wilder though. I mean,
You gotta go with the American.
I don't know. What do you think the odds are? You think they're close?
I have to be close. I mean, just to end it in a tie. There's no way they can be like clear-cut favorite.
I'll pull it up real quick if you can fill for a second on.
I gotta go for the American. That's the way I look at it. Call it what it is, but I'm going for the
Yeah, I
American,
think Tyson Fury's also had some comments about like gay people and stuff like that. I'm sure. I mean, Tyson Fury has. I'm sure Wilder's not like this super progressive guy or anything like that. But
Wilder wants to kill someone in the ring. I don't care. I think I
yeah,
think-
and people ask him to clarify his comments and like, are you sure you want to say about murdering people and having a body under your belt? He's like, yeah, that's what I said.
It's boxing. These guys aren't like these. They're not scholars. They get beat up for a living. You don't have to be smart. People
That was
don't
another
do this.
thing in the Ali documentary. One of the talk shows he went on, and he's trying to say like, oh, do you and your opponent have any worry about brain damage? And knowing what happens to Ali after that, you kind of get sad thinking about it. But when he's saying like, you don't give a shit about either one of our like black brains getting scrambled or anything like that. We don't come on here and try to like threaten your livelihood. He's like, the only way we can come up is by boxing, being able to fight and stuff like that. So when people try to say like, oh, we're worried about like CTE, this, that, you try to play the moral high ground. You're still gonna watch the NFL every week.
Yeah.
You're still gonna watch boxing. Okay, so it's Wilder minus 130, Fury minus 110. So as close to even as you can get.
Yeah.
Over 10 and a half rounds is the favorite, minus 125. So people are expecting a full fight. It's gonna be awesome. I'm excited.
I'm excited for this fight too. I really am. It's gonna be a fun one to watch.
We are talking about the heavyweight division, which is not in Bundesliga. But thank you guys so much for watching.
I like the transition.